Welcome to the Six-Figure Author Experiment, where we help you break through your first or next $100,000 goal. Parental discretion is advised. Now, let's get on with the show.
Hello, everyone. Hi, Lee. How are you? Hi.
Doing awesome. So excited.
Same. Hi, Renee. How are you?
Hello, thanks for having me.
We're gonna try. Thank you for. We're so excited. As I told you before, I read both of your books this weekend. Plus a book, plus a Heather Hildenbrand's book. So, like, I am so manifesty right now. I'm so
Yes,
excited.
that is the best.
So we're going to continue on a tradition we just started, which is having guests introduce themselves instead of just going full bore into everything. So,
Fantastic. I am Renee Rose, seven-figure author, 15-time USA Today romance author of dark romance and mafia. And sorry, paranormal, dark, whatever, I can't do this. Dark,
No, you're right.
dark mafia and paranormal, co-author of the lovely Lee Savino, and also co-conspirator of Money Magic with Lee, which is our monthly abundance mindset call. So
We
yes,
just talked with Heather and she said, I started doing all this manifesting work and mindset work. And then, I went down the rabbit hole and it changed my life and I wanted to share it. I'm like, yes, that's why Renee and I write books on the subject, talk about it all the time. We're just always a student of how do I get my brain in the most anything is possible space, which is why I
right.
love listening to audios and books on this topic, is because I get so happy and I just feel like anything is possible. And that's just a really nice place to be. In fact, I was driving my car and I'm like, why am I so happy right now? And it was this stretch of the highway. And I'm like, the sky is so blue and the trees are so orange. And yes, there's traffic, but I just love it here. And I was like, oh, you always listen to audios that make you
Uplifting audios. Yeah.
on 64 West, and you're on 64 West and your mind is like, okay, we're going to feel happy now. We're going to release the happy chemicals. So I've made my little list again of like all the happy books to listen to on walks, and just spend December like absorbing it again because
Yay.
I love it. Well, I feel like I manifested getting this arc because Monica was talking about how they were reading the first book, and then a couple of people reading the arc of your second book that's coming out, and I was like, I want to do that. And like literally within like 15 minutes, Lee was like, "Hey, do you want to have Renee on this show?" And I was like, "I do. Can you see if I can get an early copy of her book?"
Look at
And
you, powerful manifester.
it's
so
just so
Right
good.
to Riches, book 1,
Yes.
and Relax to Riches, book 2.
Yes. And I knew when I wrote book 1 that there would be a relax to riches, but I waited until, things deepened until I knew what it was going to be about. And then I got the nudge. And even then I didn't, it's like this one I really like went into the closet with the lights off and just like found my way through it. Like everything just would just show up at my feet as I needed it for the next chapter. So I went through the crucible in writing this, and I hope that readers will also feel like they've gone through a crucible.
I love it. So this new book is nine like strategies. The first book is more like it felt like I felt like I could use any of the strategies in any order. And like the new one, the first one, it felt like there was like a process that I was going through. Am I accurate with like that? Or like, did you write it that way? Or is it just like you were writing out what happened in your life and it just so happened to follow?
No, no, I do think they're in both cases they're organized in a way that I thought they could be received. And both of them are kind of starting with the like any manifestation, get clear on your intention. Actually, I guess it is backwards because the first one is clear first, and then you set your intention, and this one is intention, and then by the end we've cleared everything that got in the way. So I guess it's like the reverse of the first book. It's true.
Okay, so I have two things that I want to say about the first book before we go on to the second book. One is so I have always tried to hoard my luck. I don't pick up money on the street because I'm like I don't want to waste my luck. And I read your book And I was like, which is about like, don't if you don't pick up the money on the street, you're training the universe on how to treat you. And rude, like just like, but like it was so true. I was talking to Heather, and I was like, yeah, I kind of think I changed my entire approach to this because luck is not finite, and I don't want the universe to think that I don't want their money.
Right.
It's finite if you think it's finite. You can
Right.
have that if that sounds fun for you. Like there's going to be a limited amount of resources
A better hoard.
and we all better fight over them and we better get mad and build walls and all that crap. Or, or you'd be like, I literally make money from the ideas that appear in my head in a split second when I'm in the shower
Yes.
or floating in a pool, which is
Yes. Or sleeping in your bed.
or going just walking to make tea. I'm like, oh, that plot issue solved.
Yes.
Glad I took a tea break.
Yes, and the second one is the thing I'll have that too. I've been saying that all weekend. Like every time I get into like a place that I'm like, I don't know, I don't really feel jealousy. I'm just like but I do feel like I'm never going to get places. And like when I see things like I'm never going to get there. But then now I'm like, I'll have that too. And we just talked in code probably for the first thing. So like I'd love for you to expand out like why like these two things I feel are pretty related. Like I'll have that too. And then like you should like make your money be infinite. And then you have a part, your first paragraph of one of your chapters, it talks about how you want to think about what the infinite possibility is here. So from that chaos, something happens. What's
Right.
happened?
Right. I mean, I think it could be distilled down to like it's as simple as resistance versus receiving. So resistance is limitation. That's for her, not for me. I better hoard there's only so many pennies, so I'm gonna wait till there's a $20 bill and then I'll pick it up. Right. I don't want to waste my luck on this penny. Um, and receiving is like, yes, I will receive, like, thank you. And yes, and what else? Like just an open door to receiving. And it really is like how much we're willing to let ourselves. And that sounds like of course, that sounds ridiculous. You're like, of course I'm willing to let myself. But it's our self-image gets so in the way. Our own our own blocks about how much we're willing to receive are packed in there. And they're based on past pain. They're based on, societal constructs that have, mass consciousness that we've, marinated our little brains have marinated in. And, and also, even generational trauma, or if you believe it, past life trauma can set you up for resistance. And I always say like just setting your intention, making your dream board, that works. That worked for me when I was 25, got my first house, got a dream job, started a dance company, but there were other things that was like banging my head against a wall. And so like looking at my shadowy side of like, where did my self-image need to open up and expand? Then, because once you've cleared that stuff, then manifesting is just as easy as like, I'll have it. I want it, I'll have it.
Yeah.
It should be that easy. There's a lot of stuff that we've manifested. Not everyone likes that word, but it's like you have a house that has indoor plumbing. You are already richer than Solomon, than all the pharaohs, and you've allowed that. And then I spent half of my life going, no, you can't be an author. Like it's not possible. Because my family told me you have to get a job. You can't, follow your art. And it was just a lie. And I was like, oh, I could actually do this. What I found was really helpful when I met Renee was I kept putting affirmations on top, and really trying to change my conscious mind. And I needed the subconscious to change. And there's many, 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 many ways to do that. I think, even like in witchcraft, there are little rituals. I'm like, I think the ritual is just to allow it. Like,
I speak to the subconscious that you're doing something
by my door with cinnamon. That means I'm allowed to have money now. And the little ritual works because your mind is now allowing it. But I think that I did need to clear. I needed what was underneath, not to just be painted over. I needed the rotting wood underneath to be thrown out, like all that stuff about you can't be an author, you have to be thin and pretty before you can do anything or whatever. That needed to go. And then I was able to create a dream life where I had always worked hard. I had always been like, I'm a positive thinker. I believe, I have faith. But a lot of it I was just putting on top of some nasty beliefs that were holding me back. And when I met Renee, she helped me clear that stuff and did it energetically, which is something that I don't understand and don't need to because it works so well for me. And I'm like, yeah, okay, let's just talk in metaphor and magic. That's fine.
Yeah.
When I cleared it, I was able to just move forward. It was another metaphor is you release the emergency brake. If you're yanking up the emergency brake, you can put your foot on the gas and you're burning out your engine. And that's what I was doing as I was burning out my engine. And then I was releasing the emergency brake and saying, no, I can't have those things. That foundational beliefs that I can't are just ridiculous. And I'm poof, disappeared. And then I was able to move forward. So that's what Renee taught me. And I think that's really in Right to Riches for sure. And the journal, Russell, if you have not gotten the journal, pick yourself apart and you journal a little bit by little and you figure out like, where am I saying no to myself? Where it's just a construct.
Yeah, it's really interesting because a couple of years ago, I've been out of high school for over 20 years and like college almost 20 years. And I look back and people are just like, how did you like do the creative thing? And like I'm the only person in my high school that I can think of that like went on to like do like write, be like a fiction writer. And like people always like I look back and I'm like, I don't get like, well, I thought we're all gonna do this thing. Like I thought we all said we were gonna do this thing, and then like you just do. Like I was never told that like I can't do it, and
Yeah.
like then I just did it, and it's so much of it, right? It's like I wasn't told I couldn't do the thing, so I just did the thing.
I think so many people are waiting for permission. Like, had they been at your side and watched you, that would have given them permission. So it's like sort of like that group, like living in a society, like we only do what, or you're waiting for someone to come along and say, yes, yes, your book is good enough. Or instead of you being like, no, I'm going to self-publish it. Like, I'm doing this. I'm not waiting for permission. I'm not waiting for approval. I'm not waiting for, the outside recognition. It's going to come from me just following what I love.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was at a lunch recently, and someone had written like dozens of books and never published it, and I was like, why didn't you publish it? And I was like, but like honestly, like, what do you know about publishing? Also, like, you just hire somebody to do this part of it, but like, if someone needs to give you permission to like do this thing, then like there are people whose whole job, like, you could go and find the person who like released your favorite book, who edited your favorite book, and they probably like take clients because everyone's freelance now, and like then they could tell you, yes, this book is good enough to publish, and then like you can do it. But I do think that like it's so much of this thing is like mental, and we think when
Yes.
we're not successful that like it's like a little bit of mental, but it's mostly just like doing the reps. And like when the more successful you get, like it just like you start seeing that like most of it is just, do I have the mental capacity, do I have like the tools and the processes to like just keep going mentally, and then the rest of it kind of will work out for itself.
Right. It's like that whole the only way you get there is you you walk down the path and the path may be muddy and you may get, but it's like you're not going to get to the other side. Like someone's not going to come and magic you to the other side. It's like we step into it and then you're in the flow and it shows up. Like you'll figure it out. You always figure it out. Like trusting that. Like you always figure it out. You're going to figure it out.
I was like, things always work out for my wife. And I was like, something that always worked out for her. But when I started being like, well, like a lot of things work out for me too. Like I usually get to the movie like at enough time to see the movie. And like sometimes we like literally got to the movie like last weekend. Like it was like the thing was like 2 minutes from starting. Like all the
Right.
previews had ended. But
Right.
like I started thinking, I also things always work out, almost always work out for me too. It's just like I didn't let my brain
Right.
process that
The
things work out.
self-image, right.
Yeah,
Yeah. And so then if we could just adopt that new self, like everything's always working out for me. And so sometimes, like some of those processes, I go, deeper in Relax to Riches. Some of those processes are like updating like really young parts of yourself where you made some decision. You raised your hand in fifth grade and your teacher crushed you in front of everybody. And so you made some decision about standing out at that point. And then that's what stops you now from posting your book. And you don't know that's what's stopping. You don't think, oh, it's that time in fifth grade. But you just like there's a safety now there your brain's trying to keep you safe from that embarrassment. And so it won't let you do a TikTok video or it
right.
won't let you, post about your book. And so it's like finding those places where we started making the self-image that things don't work out for us or that, and just like, and so it can be that, it could be like a quick 10-minute process. Like you find it, we talk to that younger part of you, let update it, go, look, I'm a successful grown-up author now. And thank you so much for trying to keep me safe, but no, thank you. And then magically that block is cleared. It can be really, it's so like, it's deeply healing, but it's also just like so uplifting to clear that stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, because resistance is exhausting.
It is. Like
You're
you said,
going
it's
through
the
life, like,
break.
right.
and then you get to put your arms down.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. Yeah, Brene Brown talks about how like the first half of your life is about putting on armor and the second half is about taking it off. I've been
Mm.
thinking about it like since I heard it years ago. But like a lot of times we don't know the armor's there, right? So like we wouldn't let a fifth grader like drive a car, but like we do let it put armor on us and then like
Keep it on forever.
keep it
Yes.
on forever. Then you see you're like, oh, I didn't even know that armor was there, but man, it feels good to take that off.
Right. I love Brene Brown. I think she's got such a clear, beautiful understanding and she speaks it in a way that I think everyone can hear, which I love.
Yeah, absolutely. So your new book, it
Yes.
starts with finding the frequency, and I love that. Like, I've been thinking about this a lot before I even read your book about how like in order to bring the kind of people together who like you have to like whether it's resonating on the same frequency or just like being the kind of person that those people want to attract. But like there's just something about like resonating on that on like the right frequency as like the first step in this process. So can you talk a little bit about that
Yeah.
process or
So I think what can happen is what we think we want is not exactly what it's not exactly what we want, or it's not the exact flavor. And so then it becomes flat. It's like Leah's talked about, hitting 6 and 7 figures as an author. And then since after she hit it, it was like, well, now what? If it's not, it's like finding what's juicy. So then you think it might be a number in your bank account, but for most people, numbers aren't that sexy. Numbers aren't what turn us on. For some people they do, and that's awesome. It's like it's just figuring out what is it that actually turns you on. So is it just having enough money to feel safe? That like anything that comes your way, you've got the credit card, you can whip it out, take care of whatever, you know, mishap happens. Or is it you want to feel special, like luxurious, like you want the first class travel? Is it that you want to travel? Like travel is kind of a whole thing of its own. So it's like finding what is the flavor for you that then you can like, because when you have the frequency, when you have the flavor, then you can actually pull it into your body. You can feel it, feel the buzz of it. Because for some people, a number on a piece of paper isn't going to make your body buzz.
Yeah, checking your bank account and seeing a lot of money, you're like, okay, that's whatever, a chore. For me, it was two things. One was when I was broke, I'd imagine going to the grocery store, swiping my debit card, and knowing the money was there no matter what I bought, right? And then the second part was after I hit 7 figures in a year, and I'm like, oh yeah, I did it. Is that all there is? I went and bought earrings, and I call them my millionaire earrings. And that like brought it into reality. And that was a luxurious, like, yay, I did it. And then last year, my husband and I went to Tuscany, and we were both looking back on that trip and going, we just went. We just were like, what does it, not what does it cost, but like, what's the flight? Where are we staying? And whatever amount that was, we had that. So again, the luxury experience, and then the very, mundane, like just be able to buy food. Those helped me bring it into existence. I think those two things.
Like, okay, so here's I nailed down like why flying first class. Because I had a question. I'm like, is this worth the extra money? Like, is it, is it just for the wider seat or the food? And so the frequency of that for me is like when you fly not first class, and of course Southwest is different because they don't have the different classes. Although sometimes they still yell at you. The thing is, a lot of times, and I am like one of those like pleaser, like a good girl, right? I have good girl syndrome. They make you feel like a naughty kindergartner. Line up. No, show me your bag. Da da da. And then when you're first class, it's like, oh, this way, ma'am. Can I get you a drink? And I just like that because I don't like being in the line going, oh, did I do it right? Did I, I was on a flight with my friend Tess, and like because you have the two bags, and they made her put the bag inside, but then she had to pull it out to show her ID, and then they yelled at her because her bag was out, and it was just like so offensive. She was like, okay, I'll put it back in my bag. It's just that experience versus the like, do you need anything else?
They've memorized your last name. They bring you this thing on a white plate. And I was like, what the hell is this? It was a towelette. I'm like, what is it?
Warm towel. Warm, wet towel, right? The hot nuts.
Pudding?
Yeah.
What? I was like, oh, this is nice, but I don't know. I've had mixed nuts before, but they were warm. And I was like, oh my God. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But for me, the frequency is honored guest, I think. Like that's what feels good in my body.
The fun one is like, I'm Indiana Jones and like on the back of the plane, and I spent $20 on these seats, which I have totally played with and had fun with too. My husband still like prefers that. He's like,
totally.
Yeah, mine is control. Like I just need to I need the money in my account so like I can burn it all down and run away if I want to. Like I have that. And like I did I went to Crafting Commerce's business creative show this year, and I was like, why can't I get above 30 grand a month? And like I was like, I don't know, like I'd like to get to six figures a month. Like that'd be like a nice, I feel like that would be better. Like then I would never have to worry about any of this stuff anymore. And then I got there, and everyone was talking about how they work like 18 hours a day, and I'm like, oh, but like I'm not gonna do that. Like easy. Like I'm not that's no longer, that's off my radar. Like not that I wouldn't like to still get there and that I don't think that I can get there, but like the people at that show were not going to tell me anything that like I wanted to hear for the most. I did find some people that like really like blew my mind, but in general, I'm like, oh, if this is predicated on like working 12 to 18 hours a day, then like I don't want it, because the whole point is that like I can get up whenever I want. I can dick around. I can like disassociate for hours. I could like go to the movies. Like I have to do some things. Like there are things I still have to do. Like the book has to get written at some point, like the podcast has to get recorded. But like the minute after I'm done with this, like my day is done. I'm going to go take a nap and then probably go to a movie or something. Like I don't know. Like, and like this is all the fun things that I can do. So yeah, it's really interesting because you often like have this idea like, oh, the money's going to give me the thing. But then you're like, oh, in order to get the thing, like I have to do stuff that like I don't want. So like, how can I like what do I really, really want out of this situation? And it turns out like, I don't know, I'm pretty good as it is now.
Right.
yeah,
So, and then the
same.
more you lean into that, like the joy of where you are right now, the more will come to you. It's like it's always one of those, manifesting is one of those paradoxes, where
Yeah.
as soon as you don't need something because you already embody it, you already have it, you already have the like I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, then like it can come flooding in.
Yeah, absolutely. And like it's just more fun to
Yes.
like be to like not that like one of the parts is about, I think it's the second or third part is about unworthiness. Like finding the right frequency is really important, but then like you run up against this like, but like, do I actually like, should it be easy? Like, should things be this easy for me? Like, should I have this kind of money? You start to feel like you're not worth it.
Right. Well, so I was working with an author recently who part of her self-image construct, and I think I've had some of this too. Like it was really familiar when she was mentioning it, was sort of this like a little bit of like painting the woe is me and then showing them, but like I don't need any help. Look at how I've overcome it. So there was something about things coming easily and without effort that went against her self-image of I overcome the tough things and that's my persona that I've, put on.
I had
And
that,
yeah,
I was like, I can write from anywhere. And my hips were like, please don't write from bed anymore. Go to your ergonomic chair. And I'm like, oh, okay. But I really love this identity of like, I'm a free agent. I can just carry my laptop around. And it was like, well, I want my hips to feel good. So
yeah, I was sad to give. Really did enjoy writing in bed, but my body did not love it.
yeah.
Sadly. And we have to listen to our bodies because our bodies are the receptacle of our wealth. The recipient, I mean, not the
Yes.
You taught me like our souls don't need money. Like our souls don't need first class. Our souls don't need anything. We're doing it for our body. So how is this going to benefit your body? If you're thinking of the pile of money or the success or whatever, like how does your body feel afterwards? And does it benefit it? Because otherwise, we just talked with Heather Hildenbrand about how your nervous system gets triggered.
right.
Just because it's like, no, I don't know what that's going to be like. Okay, you say that first class is nicer, but I don't know for sure. So I'm going to scary, and I'm just going to say no.
Right. But then the other side of that is like, how could riches be for your body? Like for me, because it's a safety thing that like I have the credit card if something goes wrong was soothing to my nervous system. Like, okay, I have the money. Like, so like I was looking for money as a way of soothing my anxiety, you know?
Right. So then you were able to make it.
So yeah, so I was very attuned to money. Like money was good for me. I wasn't repelling it out of anxiety. I was anxious to have it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I to go to the body part, I was surprised how much of the book you devoted to sleep.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like sleep was, I mean, it was definitely the number one most longest chapter. It had the
Yes.
most chapters after, like involved in it. There are the most directions. Like, why did you choose, or like, why is that such an important part of what you teach?
Yeah. Well, what I thought of, so basically, they say that our conscious mind is responsible for like 5% of what's driving us. And the subconscious is like the 95%. And so where can we get at our subconscious? Through our dreams, through our sleep time, through other ways, through meditation, there's other hypnosis, lots of other ways too. But it's also like this sort of untapped, it's a third of our lives, right?
Mm.
And so I'm always like, how can I'm one of those people who tends to be time deficient or feel time deficient. Time is an illusion. And so it's like, well, that's, 8 hours a night I could be using to make my millions. So let's start tapping that. That's a resource I have every single night available to me. So, programming, I started long before I made seven figures. I was listening to like a seven-figure loop that was like something like, what patterns of harmony can I attract to change my money inflows to more than $80,000 every month with total ease? And anything that doesn't allow that, I clear now. And I would just listen to that like on really low every night. And it wasn't long before I 5x'd my money and then I 2x'd it from there. And then I, 2x'd it from there.
Are you also heavy on sleep, Lee? Like, do you have the same? As I agree. I mean, I have long COVID, so like I have to sleep, and my wife has to sleep a lot. But like, are you also like big on sleep?
Yes. And I realized I just wrote, um, I'm writing this book that will be done soon. And I wrote it really fast because I was dreaming about it at night or in alpha state, like right before sleep, or when you wake up in the night and you kind of fall back asleep, or right in the morning, which
My time too.
I'm interrupted when I had littles, like babies, because I was co-sleeping. But I got to co-sleep with my infants. So that was wonderful. But I missed being with the characters in my head. And I still was, on and off. But like this past month was very, very tuned in two, the characters can hear the hero speaking, and was putting up a word count per day that I hadn't done in a long time. I was like, oh yeah, because you know exactly what you're going to write because you've been in the book all night and then waking up in the morning and coming into your work.
So juicy. Yeah.
Yeah, it was wonderful. So
yeah, that's when I write books too, is falling asleep and waking up, and walks and showers.
Yeah.
Which are all those times when like our minds are kind of open to.
Yeah, that liminal space, which we tend to try to avoid in hustle culture. You're like, make every hour efficient.
Get up, get focused.
And your brain is like, or just space out and dream up something that will make you millions in 2 seconds. So,
yes.
I love that. But and also, like, when I don't sleep, I have a very hard time getting, like, hearing the characters. And like when I'm too sleep deprived for too long, I like suddenly can't write for like, or I can't write easily. Like it like I suffer for like the same amount of words that I normally can do very easily when I'm in when I'm like when I actually have slept well. I always find it very interesting that writers tend to ignore the fact that sleep is important. I don't know why it is, but like it's really interesting to think about like the dream time and the because you have a chapter to like dreaming and interpreting dreams and then lucid dreaming and like there's like three or four other, and then only one of the chapters is like you should probably sleep because like sleep is necessary and good for your body and brain, and most of it's like, well, you can do this in dreams and this in dreams, and all of these things come back to like your lucid state when you're awake.
Yeah. So I think the way that all came to fruition was your dreams show you where your energy's headed. And so being the manifestation queen, I was like, well, I bet you I could reverse engineer that to dream about what I want and then get it. So then I know I'm programmed my energy where I want to be headed versus the dreams where I'm like, lost and late for the chemistry test. Like, because that's not where I want my energy headed, is late for the chemistry test, I've had a few of those where I show up and I've like, it's the final, but I haven't been to class all semester, those.
or I'm being told like you didn't graduate. And finally broke the pattern because I was lucidly like, excuse me, first of all, I did graduate. Second of all, I don't need this degree. I make X amount per month without it and doing what I want to do. And I was a creative writing major, so that's kind of funny. But I'm like, I snapped out of it and stopped having those like, I need a job dreams or I need my degree dreams, which was all like, I see dreams like that though as releasing stress. Like it's
well, it just shows you where your subconscious is dwelling.
Yeah.
So that's that shadow stuff. So if you're having those dreams, then your shadow is worried that you need to graduate.
Yeah.
Or you haven't graduated, or
naked or whatever. Yeah.
That you're naked. Yeah. That you're exposed, that you're, all of those. So that's why I was like, well, if I could manipulate this time toward, so that it's heading towards what I desire versus what I don't desire, then that's like mining gold,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I love. Is there any? So there's like 80 pages of this book probably that are like devoted to doing that, but like, can you? It's like, what is like the? Well, you talk about the best strategies in here, but like for people that haven't read the book yet, like, could you like what can they do to start like maybe not necessarily not lucid dreaming, but like getting them on the path so like they are reverse engineering it like you?
Yeah. So like before you go to bed, so whatever it is, so you found your frequency, right? You know that you want that first class experience or whatever that is, the safety of having all the money, your safety net or whatever that is. And so then you just tell yourself before you go to bed, I'm going to dream about, and see if you can come up with like an actual scenario that would prove that out. Like just saying like, I'm going to dream about having an extra $1 million. What's the scenario? You open your book report and look at it and you throw a pop of champagne bottle, but like, what would be the feeling and experience of that? So if you could come up with that. So for me, I felt like I wanted to become a speaker. So I started asking to dream about, I said, being in front of a stadium of people. And then I share in the book that like my first attempt, I was at the stadium, but I was under the bleachers sweeping. I was the janitor at the stadium. And I was like, okay. So that tells me there's some subconscious beliefs that I don't belong on stage. I belong sweeping the floor. Like, and so I could, then I have something to clear, something to look at. And but so you before you go to bed, you would say, I wish to dream about whatever it is. And then every time you stir in the night, you just remind yourself, like, oh, have I dreamed about that? Or don't forget to dream about, whatever it is. And then when you wake up in the morning, you kind of listen for, did I dream about it? And whether you do or not, just the act of you like reminding yourself all night long of that thing is already seeding your subconscious.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people like I had a little trial group and they'd be like, I can't do it. And I'm like, no, you're doing it. You are doing it.
Yeah, it's like meditation, right? When you're like the process is like finding yourself drifting away from something else and pulling you back to where you need to be. Like that's meditation. Like that's the actual thing that you like are doing. Like the rest of it is like what they say meditation is, or what people think meditation is, but that process of catching yourself thinking about something else and drawing it back is like the core of meditation, right?
Right. And I've always been more of the like a journeyed meditation versus the like blank mind, because I'm a little squirrely anyway. So gotta keep my mind going where I want it to go.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so this is the tool that made me the most viscerally, gave me the most viscerally, I don't know, negative reaction, but like fear is freedom. And it's not quite what it's the fear is freedom is different than the like what fear is like it like ch the chapter twists it on its head, but like I really want to at least touch on that one because that one and the guilt chapter are the ones that like definitely the fear is freedom one I think is like for a lot of people who are in the fear triad of the I feel like that chapter was for fear triad people and like the guilt is for shame triad people.
Sure.
Um so from Enneagrams for those of you who don't follow that. But like I need to hear more about why fear is freedom.
Yeah. So anything you're fearful of is then going to be running the show completely. So again, this is that 95% your subconscious mind. It was afraid because in fifth grade you got embarrassed. And so really we want to lean in instead of reject. Because it's like if you've seen that movie, Inside Out 2, where like every time there's a bad feeling, she just like chucks it toward the back and like, I'm not going to feel that, which is totally what I would do because I was like, oh no, I only feel good, happy vibes, because I'm a manifester. But those things are still back there. And then there's the moment where they all come crashing back and you feel terrible. And so really it's about like really absorbing those. So like opening the door, turning on the lights, taking a look and holding them with just radical approval. Like, okay, radical approval of the part of me that is terrified of making $1 million because I'll lose all my friends and I'll leave behind my co-author or my other authors' friends and everyone will hate me and I'll get canceled on social media. Like just radical approval for all the fears that come up. And so by holding it with radical approval, instead of rejecting it, you're pulling it in. So you're leaning into it instead of pushing away. And so then it becomes a receiving instead of a resistance. That's why I say everything can just be boiled down to receiving or resistance. So we want everywhere shame was resistant, everywhere fear was resistance, all of those things we want to change, like just basically reverse the direction and absorb them. And then you have more of you. When your fears aren't running the show, then you're like holding yourself with the fears and you've got all of you.
Yeah, I mean, it's as simple as you're like, oh no, I'm gonna go in the ditch. You keep thinking of the ditch. You start staring at the ditch, and you're like driving, and then you're gonna drive into the ditch. So you're like, okay, I'm afraid of the ditch, and I have to drive 500 miles next to the ditch, and I'm just okay, great. And then suddenly you freed up your mental energy to be like, well, what if I just look at the blue sky and the road and the road signs? Like,
yeah. Or even what if I like really slowly go try driving in the ditch and see how it actually feels? And then I won't be scared of the ditch anymore. Like whatever that is. Like whatever it is for you to receive the thing that you were refusing.
I love the thing that you said, Lee, too. You said like you just free up your mental energy, which I think is like a part of what I read, what I've read a lot in manifesting. And it's like the less mental energy you have for the things that are holding you back, the more mental energy you have for the things that are pushing you forward. And to be on this like other side of the like receiving, rejecting, because like if you're always looking for things to reject, then like all you're going to see are things to reject. And if you're looking for things to receive, then you're going to see things that to receive, right?
Yeah. Versus, yeah, something happens or you're thinking about it. You're like, I would hate that. That's really annoying. And then you're done with it and then it's gone. And it's a nice way, actually. It's kind of the way that animals are. Like the wolf is out and he's hunting and he sees a rabbit and he goes and he can't get the rabbit. He doesn't sit and dwell on the rabbit. Be like, I'm so hungry. Now there's no rabbit. And I have to go find another rabbit. He's just like, okay, rabbit. And kind of updates immediately. I think all humans, though, because the way our brains are, we do have to wallow a little bit. I think it's like, okay, I'm just gonna accept that today I want to eat ice cream in my pajamas because that did not go well and it sucked. But I'm gonna accept that. I'm gonna be like, it sucks. I don't like breakups. I don't like being rejected. I don't like, getting yelled at on TikTok.
Yes.
But then not dwelling on it for the next 30 years.
Right. Because the truth is, if you accept it in that moment, it will pass through. You're like a screen door. It's when you like camp down and start defending, reacting, making a story about, like, that's a different feeling,
Yeah, I was having my boundaries crossed and I felt this anger and it was coming up and I was like, oh, you're not allowed to feel angry. And I would do this and my entire side body was on fire for years. And then yoga's like, well, your side body is where you hold your emotion. And I was like, well, what's going on? I went to therapy and she's like, you're mad. She's like, but you're scared about it. So we released the anxiety and then I would feel this heat like literally bloom through me. Like I would get lightheaded. It's like a fireball went. And I just had a great therapist who was able to hold the space for just processing the emotions and then talking about, I mean, there were times where I was like, and then she did this and that and the other. And I was like, and the therapist was like, you're angry. I wasn't allowing myself to be angry. But then I held on to it for so long that I was in pain.
Yeah.
I didn't have to be in pain. I didn't have to. It's almost like the pain is necessary, but the suffering isn't. And I was suffering because I wouldn't just be like mad for 2 seconds.
Right. Yeah. I always tell the story of like, I found this new, like an energy coach, like our first session was I had just separated from my ex. And so I come on and I'm like, sorry, and I'll stop crying. And bless her heart, she's never even met me before. And like, I'm on the Zoom just bawling. And she was like, she asked me this question. She goes, just let yourself cry. She goes, how long do you think your body needs to cry? Is it like a week, 2 weeks, a month? And I heard a week. And so I said, a week. And she goes, then just let yourself cry for a week, which I never would have done otherwise. Like this is me. I needed someone's outside permission to say, yeah, just cry. And it was 5 days. It wasn't a week. It was 5 days. And then I was done. And I was like, oh, thank God I could have held that for another 3 years. All that trying to, stiff upper lip or whatever. Like I'm kind of the queen of that. Like, thank God someone said, just let it pass through you.
Yeah, it's really interesting because like someone said like anger, for instance, like it only lasts like what 7 or 13 seconds. And but like if you hold it, like if you are scared of being angry, like you're going to live your whole life like rejecting that part of yourself, and that's going to be a problem. And then if you like hold it back, you're not going to be able to feel it, and then it's just going to get more. But like if you just let it pass through you, it's probably like going to last like less than the sentence I just said.
Uh-huh. Or you're like grinding your teeth so much, your dentist is like, we should also look at a day guard, not just a night guard. Like you're going to have to wear one during the day. Like, I got to do something. I got to do something about this anger or whatever the emotion was. But yeah, just letting it go. Like the total approval thing. And Renee, you also said, whatever you're afraid of, like being on TikTok and I'm afraid I'm going to be just so cringy. You were like, embrace that with total approval. Yeah. And So now I'm on TikTok and I'm like, I get to be cringy.
Yeah.
I am cringy. I don't think there's been any point in my life where I have been one of the cool kids, except isn't it cool to just be doing your own thing? So why don't I just and
Exactly.
embrace being cringe? I don't have to be cool, but I probably will be cool by not wanting to be cool. And finding and then just being on TikTok, I'm finding what I enjoy about it. And then, you're talking about manifesting, and you're just like, you just get in, you just get on the path and you get money. And I'm on the path that I'm getting money. But now I'm like, oh my gosh, there's a pretty flower. Oh my gosh, I love TikTok. I just said that today. It's like I love TikTok because I just found this new song. And it's nowhere. I found it on YouTube. It's not even on Spotify. And I'm like, I love this song. I love TikTok. I find songs that I love and I can write to that make, these images bloom in my mind. But it's me just on the path, getting money and not afraid that I am like the worst and being like, I'll just be the worst. It's fine.
Yeah. So it's like the one question you could I'll just ask you both. Like, what are you refusing to be that if you would just be it could change everything? Do you get anything?
What are you refusing to be that he would just be it?
Could change everything for you.
Yeah, there's like the diva, the superstar, the famous, the I don't know, tacky queen. I don't know.
I'm pretty good at not rejecting my desire to do things. Like, but I'm trying to think back of like things what I fear is that there's a thing that I think I don't want that like I actually do want, but I have like I'm like relying on on like a projection from like 5 years ago, not wanting that thing and being like, Russell, you tried that a long time ago and like you didn't like it then, but like the that was 2019 and like so that's nothing comes to mind, but like that is where I find myself a lot of things like what are the things you rejected when you were a different person that like you should probably try again. Like I specifically like don't want to do TikTok. But like do I actually not want to do TikTok like for real or like does this just 'cause like Instagram was such a grind for me and like and like live videos and or like oh like is it because like I am chronically like also like I have long COVID, right? So I'm chronically ill and like I can't do a lot, but like can I not do those some things or like can I spend 5 minutes doing a TikTok a day and like get more energetically back than like I'm giving in and I'm giving out and I spend a lot of time like thinking about those kind of things and wondering if I'm rejecting things because they actually are harmful or would not serve me or if like I'm using it as a crutch and I'm not I don't know.
Yeah. Right. What opportunities are you rejecting
Mm-hmm.
that are possibilities for you?
yeah. Also like I don't know. I should probably hire like an assistant, like a real like an assistant like a long time, like a maybe not full time, but like consistent assistant because I end up not delegating things and not and like every time I have help on something, it's very helpful. So like how much money am I leaving on the table by not hiring somebody more than like the project-based way that I'm doing now?
Yeah.
I mean, I think a lot of people listening probably are like, I don't want to be the boss. I don't want to hire people. I don't want to build an empire. I
Yeah.
don't want, dude, I was raised in a community where I heard nonstop, I would never let another person raise my children. All the women or assigned female at birth people were supposed to stay at home and raise their kids, which I would argue that the dad who left was still raising his kids. He just had a 9 to 5 or whatever. But anyway, no one said that about the guy. Um, it took me forever to be like, I'm okay with sending my kid to daycare. And it was a really positive experience for that, for our family to do that. My husband was like, of course we're going to do that. That's what my mom did. That's what we do. And why wouldn't you? Like you want to focus on your career. You're really, really stressed. Why wouldn't you get help? Why wouldn't you send the kid to daycare? Or, oh my gosh, so many little things like that. I was rejecting being a certain type of mom or, whatever.
For me, the like, what are you refusing to be was like dominant. So like, it's like sometimes I can be a little passive in my career. I don't know if I'm waiting for someone to hand me something, but there is definitely like a little bit of like, it'll come, but then sometimes it's like, there are times when a fire's lit under me and I make it happen. And I think there's a little more of that could come in.
I think there's a lot of times that you're like that.
Yeah.
And it's really, really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been doing a lot of co-projects because it's fun. I mean, let's face it. I'm co-producing a podcast, or co-hosting at least. I don't do anything else. And then I'm co-writing and co-teaching with Renee, and I really, really enjoy it. But there were other times where I was like, am I hiding behind friends? Am I going, I don't know. And so I just want to, like do it with someone else to rely on them. And what I've learned is actually that's not bad. Like I just wrote a book by myself. But then I had like 9 beta readers and 2 edits, and I'm going to get another proofread and maybe another edit and developmental edits. And I just kept phoning friends because I wasn't co-writing it. So I was like, well, I'll just bring in as much help as possible. And that was actually a really fun experience. But I was able to get over the whole, like, can I create something on my own again kind of block.
Yeah. Mine was I really wanted to publish books with a publisher. I realized after doing that for several years that like I actually don't want, like I just want to like do my own thing, but like what I wanted them was to offload like a lot of the like minutia tasks. And I was like, well, could just hire someone to offload the minutia tasks.
You could hire someone for $20 an hour or $40 an hour, like, and give someone the best career of their life, work from home, flexible hours, great boss, and you keep all the money that the publisher would take, because the publisher is going to take most of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think was there this belief of like, well, I don't want to be this Wild West indie author. I want to be legitimatized. I want to have someone say stamp of approval. We are a major publisher and we put our stamp of approval on you, the writer.
So no/yes, but like there is a thing on this that I do want to point out, because like there are some people who will only read stuff once you like have that publisher stamp of approval. And a lot of these I was at 20 books and I was talking with someone and they were like, why do I fear like I'm never enough, like when the next book is like a potential failure point? And I was like, well, like because it is. It's like there's like legitimate fear, and and there's like legitimate fears that happen. Like we all may never write a book again. We might never write a hit again. We might have written the most popular book in our careers, like, and like by like not giving any space to those things, like I think we're like gaslighting ourselves.
What if we could totally approve being washed up or failures or
exactly a hack?
Would we free up or hack? Yeah, I'm just because that hurt when you said, "Oh, you'll never." But oh my gosh, what I'm finding as someone who has more than enough money, can afford groceries now. I really want to be in the wilderness of creativity, like.
Yeah,
and I want to do this. I want to be with other people who talk about the wilderness of creativity. And I get to do both of those things. And yeah, is there a little part of me that's all like, oh, actually, there's a huge part of me that's doing that. So where can I embrace being a failure? Because that was what the block was on TikTok. It's like, I'm going to fail at TikTok. And so I didn't do it. And then,
right. Well, and now we're 2 years down the road of not doing it when we could have been doing it and learning.
Just done it.
Yeah.
Right.
And learning and growing our accounts and,
Yeah. Because of all the fun I missed out on.
Yeah.
Not necessarily like being the most flashy author on TikTok, but all the music that I missed.
I mean, I felt like I finished. Like I was like, I have a career. Like I've had my career, so I don't really like have those blocks so much anymore. But they were like, I am very sure. I hope I've written my best book. Like I hope that like I've written like the book that gets me the most, because like, man, if I could like I was so good. I was writing a book a month. You know how good your books have to be like, you just get so good at like writing books. Like I did that for 2 years, twice I did it. Um, and I'm like, man, if I can't write the best book of my life when I'm the most trained I've ever been and the most like consistent book, then like, I don't know, like that'd be kind of weird. And also like I've had half of my career, 20 to 40, like 40, if you get 40 years of the career, like there's a 50-50 shot at least that I've like written the best book that I will ever write. And like, I don't know. I still wake up and go, well, what am I going to write next? Like, I think that's the thing that like I was like, well, like, what if you retire? Well, it's like, I don't know. If I retire, I'm going to sit in a chair, like dicking around, like thinking about stories, talking to friends. Like, so I say I like I'm semi-retired now because
We're
like
doing
I
it.
don't know, like this is like the semi is there's still probably like 10 or 15 hours a week of stuff I don't want to do that I do for money. And like so I'm not retired fully because I have to do those things, but like maybe it's 5 to 10 hours a week. 20 seems a lot. Like 5 to 10 hours a week of stuff I got to do. But like, man, like I try to, what I say like pull forward your win condition. So I try to get people when I do coaching to like imagine they are like they've won the game. Like and like what does that feel like? What does that look
Yes.
like? And
Yes.
then like how can you pull that forward to like how can you pull pieces of it forward to
Yeah.
now?
Yeah. That's energy work. You're manifesting with them.
Yeah, that's great. I did not
Yeah.
know that. See, look,
Absolutely.
like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
and Renee and I practice something called the Millionaire Day, which we would go on a date with ourselves basically. And it occurred to me that the artist way, she has you go on artist dates. And there, I think people read the artist way before they consider themselves an artist. So going on an artist date would be embodying themselves as an artist. I just realized that. Anyway, so we do millionaire days because we were like, we're millionaire authors. What does that look like? And it would be like, this is what my day looks like when as a millionaire author. And there was some writing, there was some yoga, there was some going to lunch with friends, there was maybe a massage or going, to the gym or whatever, picking up your kids, getting off early, whatever. And we would do some or all of it. Or we go to the spa, be like, just go to the spa at the end.
Yeah.
So whatever it is, if you're listening to this and you're like, I want to pull in more money or more success or more freedom or whatever, like go practice your millionaire day. And it could just be, oh, I'm off on Saturdays. And the first half of Saturday will be my millionaire day. And I'm going to go to the farmer's market. I'm going to get my favorite cup of coffee. I'm going to meet an awesome friend. And every time I do something that I like, I'm going to be like, I'm a millionaire. I'm a millionaire. I'm a millionaire. And the other thing we did was we'd celebrate certain money days. So if we made $300 in a day, that's the 6-figure day. Because if you make $300 a day, 365 days in a row, you're over 6 figures. And the number is actually like $273.4. So anything over 273.4, you're millionaire or your 6-figure day. And then 2,743.
Yep.
That's why I have a mug with those numbers on it. Because every day, if you make that, you're making $1 million a year. But you could have a big pre-order dump and make a couple $100s or a couple $1,000s in a day and just start celebrating now
Yes.
that you're a millionaire, which is probably why when I actually hit 7 figures in a year, I was like, oh, but this feels the same because I had been doing it.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, I think that I forget which of your two books, but you said like you celebrated like the millionaire day, the millionaire month, then like the millionaire week, then the millionaire month.
Yes.
And
All of them.
it was
All the little wins. Totally.
yeah, I think at some point, I think it's the newer book you said that's this more recent book you said, I realized that like if I just got a coffee every day, like I could embody that thing. And like it's so true. We like deprive ourselves of the thing that makes us feel like we or have won the game
Yes.
and instead like we should just be celebrating it because if nothing else you're tricking yourself into believing that like you are a like doing this thing and like living in that world.
Yeah.
You're living your best life now and you're having a freaking blast.
Yes. Yeah, I was trying really hard to win the Starbucks for Life game, which basically just gives you a coffee a day for life. But like the thought in my mind was like, oh, that'd be so amazing. That would be like, the Starbucks millionaire. And then I figured out, I was like, I could buy myself a coffee a day. If it makes me feel that, much of a winner, that luxurious, like, why don't you do that? And so I did for several years. I went through Starbucks every day. Like,
Give it to yourself now.
yeah.
Well, we just mentioned that, we're socialized as kids. We mentioned this in the last call. I'm sorry, Renee, but you and I have talked about it. We're socialized as kids. Good girl, bad girl. And if you're bad, you don't get toys. And then we grow up and our brain's like, oh, right, I'm supposed to like make you happy. And the way to make you happy is to deprive you of all your toys and tell you're a bad girl and tell you didn't do it right and just beat the crap out of you mentally and say nasty things all the time. That's how I get you to be good. Or to feel good really is the ultimate goal. Be good so you feel good. Maybe when my kids mess up, I should give them toys. Like, let's go play and let's go.
Yeah.
Because, when they're frustrated and fighting with their sibling, it's like, what if you feel more love and you relax? But we just have this punitive society. And then we do it to ourselves. That's the worst crime.
Yeah. There was this moment where I realized like that all of my internal dialogue was like riding myself. Like, get it done, girl.
Yeah. I'm going to bring up this book again then, which is called The Perfectionist Guide to Losing Control, which changed my entire life. It's all about how perfectionism isn't bad. We use punishment to move our perfectionism forward, and we should just change that to self-compassion. And then perfectionism is not bad.
Nice.
And I've never in my whole life been told that. About like perfectionism has always been considered a bad thing in every way. I've never had anyone say perfectionism is good before until like that book.
But it's true. You're working on your book and you say, oh, I love you. And this is awesome. And it's a mess. I mean, you just literally just have typos and like just garbled sentences because you're still trying to piece together whatever it is. And you're like, I love this. And then you stay in the book and you're like, oh, let me move that sentence. And it's like 5 hours later. Oh my gosh, this is awesome. Yeah. And then you wake up in the morning, you're like, I'm going to get a Starbucks because that makes me feel amazing. Because I used to say, oh, I'll treat myself. Oh, I'll reward myself. Oh, I haven't. And I'm like, what the heck? You get the caffeine and then you do the good. Like, why are you flipping that around? But when you love it, you're in it and you do it and you don't care that the path is muddy. You're like chasing butterflies down the path and you're a mess. And then hopefully you go home and the people you live with are still loving to you, even when you're covered in dirt.
Yeah.
But
what was the book called? The
Perfectionist Guide to Losing Control.
Guide to Losing Control.
I remember the big one that for me was I have an unlimited book budget. I said, I'm never going to private. If I ever want a book, it does not matter. Like, I'm just going to get it for like forever. So it's like we call it our top hat budget because it's like we also have an unlimited budget for top hats, but like we don't really want top hats. So it's just like it's a thing that's like not like top hats are not in my budget, but like if I want a top hat, I'll go buy it. And in the same way, it's like, well, books aren't in my budget because there's a limited number of them. If I want them, I will have them in whatever format I want. Thank you. All right, so we are nearing the end. I just want to be respectful of everyone's time listening and like also on this call. I love both of the books. They are both so good, and I feel like I could just pick one a month, like one thing in your new book a month, and just be like, I'm going to work through one of these things, and by the time I'm done, I'm going to have to go back and re-up another one of them, and then I could just keep doing that, doing like this cycle of 9 things like forever.
Nice. Thank you.
So, let's just give us the name of the book, like you want to give a pitch to it, and where we can find you.
Comes out on winter solstice, December 21st. It can be found on all retailers, and including Audible will be up soon. And Right to Riches is my first book. If you'd like to start there, that one's geared towards authors. Relax to Riches is for anybody.
And you did the audio.
I did the audio myself, which is, I have mad respect for narrators because it is exhausting.
Yeah.
You
And
did it. And so if someone wants to be with the energy of a multi 7-figure author, like, go get the audio and just fall asleep to it very low.
Yes, that is one of the tools.
or,
Go to bed with Renee every night. That's
There you
my
go.
thing.
Sleep with me.
or I recommend getting both. So that's what I did. So you can get both, and then you can like have it whisper sync between you if you do Amazon. Like you can. I really enjoyed both things. Again, I can't overstate how much I enjoyed the book, and I hope I hope it sells like 8 billion copies and everyone reads it.
Thank you so much. Ben, thanks for having me today.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for listening. For more, head on over to sixfigureauthorexperiment.com for archive access, resources, and more. We'll see you next time.